Oh, baby.
Boy, they love
Rock
you.
on.
Anytime you're ready.
Okay. Now, Jamie, I was going through a TV guide, an old TV guide, and I came across a picture of you in Operation Petticoat.
Amazing,
yeah,
isn't it?
John Aston.
I know.
A cool picture. Now, you started out doing a lot of TV stuff, and I'm thinking.
I was under contract
Yeah,
at Universal.
Well, memorable shows to appear on. When you were on Charlie's Angels, now what did you do exactly on that show, and how great a gig for you?
I actually did Charlie's Angels after Halloween had come out, and everybody assumed I'd be a big movie star, and I couldn't get a job. And I did a Charlie's Angels episode where I was Cheryl Ladd's childhood friend, who's now a professional golfer, and I go to visit her because I'm being attacked and stalked. And then as we're walking around her compound at her house, we walk across a bridge and alligators attack us because we fall into the water because the bridge has been sawed, and then we wrestle alligators.
A great day in Hollywood?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, well, I'm thinking about movie budgets. Now, you've been in some really big budget films, but the first Halloween film...
$300,000, 21 days.
Well, what kind of corners do they have to cut?
There were no corners to cut. The amusing thing about Halloween, the best story about the budget, is that in the movie, the old scary house is exactly how that house really looks in Pasadena. And we shot all of the post-opening scene stuff at that house. The last shot of the movie, the entire crew and cast went to that old house and rebuilt it to look like the new house in the opening scene. So we spent the day whitewashing it, putting up wallpaper, curtains, furniture, and then for that whole opening shot, which is famous, this all-in-one opening shot, they didn't have enough lights to light the whole house. So what had to happen is there are grip and electric guys standing in corners with lights, and as the camera moved by and started going up the stairs, they ran into the next room and lit the corner of the room, so when the camera came back down the stairs, that room was lit. That's how the corners were cut. Absolutely true.
Okay. Well, I'm thinking of the bad jokes that you've had to endure over the years. Say you're in a restaurant and there's no knife, and you ask for a knife. What kind of comments do you hear?
The bad jokes I get usually are about my body. It's not, people, horror movies and Halloween particularly are really quite loved. People don't make fun of it as much. Scream started to make fun of horror movies. Yeah. The people that love those movies, they don't make fun of them. They're real serious about them. That's why the fan base for H2O is so strong. I knew that if I made a movie 20 years later that showed where Laurie Strode was, that showed that Laurie Strode had no life because her life was a prisoner of this experience 20 years ago, and you bring Michael Myers back into that world, she would not only obviously react, and there would be the natural reaction of fear, but that there would be a moment in the movie where she would turn it around. And go after him and kick his ass. That's the fan base that you make this movie for, not the joke. You know what I mean? The whole idea of horror films are a joke. You look at Halloween, it's not a joke. It's a very serious movie.
Well, the first time you saw that with an audience and seeing this film with an audience...
This film with an audience is one of the great choices. It's like a great comedy. When I saw Fish Called Wanda with an audience, I had real questions about A Fish Called Wanda. I didn't think it was going to be a success. I didn't think it was funny. And boy, when I saw it with an audience, there is nothing like watching a comedy with an audience that's working. Same thing with a horror movie. It is one of the great thrills of a filmmaker to sit in the back of the room and watch the place rock. And this movie rocks. And there are moments in this where people just scream. They go nuts.
Well, I'm thinking about actors on the project. People like the actor who plays Michael Myers. Is he a person that come lunchtime he eats alone, or do people associate with him?
In the first movie, the man who played the Shape, as we refer to him, was Nick Castle, who's a movie director now, who was one of John Carpenter's best friends, and who John, I guess, was an unemployed guy at the time, and John said, hey, will you be this guy? And he was married with 3 kids. They were on the set in the afternoon. They'd be there at lunch, and and in our movie, it was a stuntman, Chris Duran, who did a really good job. He was very serious about this work. People, you can make fun of it, and people can try on the mask and hold a knife and look. people make these movies, make them very seriously. We're all committed to making it a really scary, taut, clever, funny, sharp horror movie. We don't joke around. People don't, you know, it's easy to kind of make fun of it from the outside, but not when you're in it.
Got a question. You've done a wide variety of roles over the years. You've done a lot of different things, well-rounded career.
Thank you.
Was there ever a time, because it's funny hearing the Scream Queen thing brought up in the press kit, was there ever a time that you really wanted to distance yourself from that?
Oh, sure. Oh, after I did 6 horror films, I knew after I did Halloween 2 that was it. That was the only time I've ever probably made a conscious decision as an actor was when I decided not to do any more horror movies. That I'd done them, that I kind of I've gone as far as I was going to go in that genre. And very quickly I got another job. I mean, in fact, the next day. So, and then from then I've had all sorts of different experiences. But yeah, it was the only conscious decision I made.
Great. All right, thanks very much.
Thank you very much.